So I typically do one of two things on days where I'm not feeling it. But before that, you want to acknowledge exactly how you feel. Whether you're tired or you just literally don't feel like it, or you've been working hard for the past several days, you're just kind of in a slump, acknowledge whatever you feel and be completely honest with where you're at in that area. I find that this is a lot more helpful than trying to convince myself that I feel like doing something. Some suggestions will say things like, I get to do this or I'm allowed to do this, therefore I'm grateful and all that. I think it's okay here and there, but personally, I get a lot more success when I literally just acknowledge exactly how I feel. Like, I don't want to play piano, I don't want to play guitar, I don't feel like studying this language, whatever it is. And I would also add, maybe acknowledge what you do want to do. Like, literally right now, I want to play Street Fighter 6 because C Viper just came out, right? Like, literally, this is not an example. This is actually what I want to do. But I want to also make this video for you guys. And then I'm going to do that right after this. So option one of two things that I usually do is I'll make it a preparation day. So a preparation day is like, rather than taking action and checking your boxes and all that, all you're going to do is get everything that you would use ready to take action. So whatever YouTube videos you like, this is a time where you can binge through YouTube videos also and save it to those playlists. How I typically do things are what I laid out in my How to Teach Yourself Anything on YouTube video and the Watch Later playlist video, and how to organize that for really good results. Those two videos, rather than just beating the dead horse and saying it all again, those are exactly what I do on preparation days. So check those out. I will link those in the description as well. But you can prepare however you want. The goal is just to get yourself ready to take action on a subsequent day. Something else that I do is clean up all your Notion documents and templates and files and Google Docs and all of these other things that we keep, logs and all that. This is the time where you go delete everything that you don't really need. I sometimes, out of ambition, like overly ambitiously, I don't know if that's a word, out of ambition, I take too many notes or get too many things put in my Notion or Google Docs. And so my preparation days, I go delete a lot of that stuff. And then I also go delete things that I've already completed. Personally, when I have a bunch of extra notes and like all this added clutter, I tend to take less action because it's just too much to decide from. I know this is the case for many of you as well, as you've talked about in the comments. So take the time and just remove it. Also, keep in mind, if you really need it, you'll probably write it down again. So be a little liberal with clearing things out. I find that the mental clutter is a big part of how I am taking action on the days that I'm actually doing something. And just a quick note, do not overdo the next day or the next set of days you have laid out. I referenced this in my any goal video, which is another video I think you should watch. It's literally how I accomplish my goals, whether it be hobbies or business or anything. And one thing I talk about is like, you really want to kind of take it one day at a time or 1 or 2 weeks at a time max, if you're not able to keep a long-term plan and actually stick to it. You'll know this, you'll know which one is for you rather, if you tend to make plans and then you always have to adjust it like every other day or so. I personally do not like doing that. I used to do it, but I found it frustrating. I like to keep a general idea of what I'm doing and then just log things as I go. But just a quick note there, do not overdo the next day or don't get overly ambitious on your preparation day. That all being said though, prepare however you prepare. This is literally just what I do, but however you want to prepare, just do that. Keep in mind though that this is better than doing nothing. So that's option one. Option two is to work hard that day, but rest the next day. However, I'm gonna go over some things that I noticed in basically brute forcing my way through work and just knowing that I'm gonna rest the next day. One of the first things I noticed is that sometimes we don't feel like doing things until we are doing the thing. Piano is like this for me. I love guitar and I can play it all day really. And it's actually, I play it so much that I forget to do other things sometimes. But piano, as much as I love it, as much as I love the sound of it, it does not have that same passion in me yet. Like, I don't have that same passion for it quite yet. On some days it's there, but other days I'm just dragging along and I really don't feel like doing it. However, I noticed maybe 5 minutes into the warm up, or after the warm up, really, or like a couple minutes into what I'm working on, then that drive kind of shows up. And I bring this up because maybe something you want to do, you might notice that in your own life. Like you really don't feel like setting everything up or getting into it. But once you're into it, then you're moving. I would say take the time to acknowledge that and keep awareness of it. Therefore, you can just force yourself to kind of warm up and get into it. These are particularly in things that you want to be good at, like you want to be really good at, but it's hard for you to develop that passion for it at that time. It may come later, it probably will happen later, but at that time, it's just not there. Another thing I have discovered in this is that moving physically often makes me want to do the rest. I'll just keep using piano or even language learning or whatever, right? If I'm laying in bed, it's hard for me to get from that step to doing the activity or studying or going through my chords or runs and all that. But if I'm like up and I'm moving around, my living room is very empty, so it's kind of like a open space for me to just exercise. So if I'm doing stuff in there and my blood's pumping and I get oxygen in my brain, I notice that is also a time where I kind of get a bit more motivation or like a bit more drive to go do that thing. So I would suggest try to get your body moving physically, and then that may lead you to get the same experience that I do. So if you have a cat, go chase it around the house or throw something and play fetch with your dog, go do jumping jacks, whatever you do. I literally just do mobility routines in my living room, or I hit a heavy bag. I have a heavy bag in my living room too. I'll just hit that or do some pull-ups because I have a pull-up bar in there too. So I'll do something. You don't have to have a whole gym set up, but the point is just to get your blood moving however you want. Even if the activity is not physical, typing on a computer, for example, I would still suggest going and getting your blood moving and get some oxygen going throughout your body because that, in my experience, has really helped me a lot. Thirdly, is when I feel sluggish, I literally just remember that tomorrow is my off day. Kind of have that thing to look forward to. Sometimes, whether I warm up for 10 minutes and I warm up my body literally, I'm still just not feeling it. I'll get through the motions, but I'm still just not into it. But that is something that I do look forward to. I look forward to that rest day where I know I'm gonna play video games or binge watch YouTube or whatever I want to do. If you have to write that down on like a notepad or something, like what do they call sticky notes, and put that somewhere, do that. Like tomorrow is my off day, and just keep looking at it because that is, whether you believe it or not, that is going to help you actually work hard that day. A bonus one is abandon ship and make the next day a half day or a 10-minute day for everything. I usually avoid this, but there have been days, I'm just gonna be honest with you, there have been days where I don't prep and I don't work hard that day. I literally just don't do anything. I'll fire up whatever I want to do and do that. And what I do the next day is I ease into it. That's why I have here half day or 10-minute day for everything. Therefore, the next day after that, I can get back into the full groove. The more things you do in a day, the less time you will have towards each of them. That's kind of why I mentioned half day or 10 minutes. It could be 5 minutes. You could literally just study 3 vocab words and check the box. The point is to go through the motions and then make the next day a regular day after that. So abandon ship, half day, 10-minute day, and then regular day. So in a nutshell, those are basically the things that I flowchart to. But I'm going to talk about some extra things that you should keep in mind just overall for your life. The first thing is try to figure out why you're not feeling it. So one reason that I have discovered in myself is that my diet was not in check. Particularly, it was too much coffee, not enough healthy fats, and not enough fruit. So in a nutshell, I'm not gonna tell you how to eat, but how I eat is animal proteins, healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and I eat plenty of fruit and honey. That's like a big part of my diet, fruit and honey. And do not confuse that sugar with the fake sugar that's in processed foods. Those are two different things. But I noticed since eating like that, I have a really high amount of energy like all day. I also do not drink that much coffee anymore, if any. And what this did for me is I have far less of these like sluggish days or days where I'm not feeling it. So if you want to eat that way: meat, eggs, fruit. Oh yeah, I forgot to say eggs, I think. Yeah, I eat a lot of eggs as well. Meat, eggs, fruit, and honey. That's like 98% of my diet. I also don't track anything, and I don't obsess over like the small details. But if you want to eat that way and try it out, you may also find that you have an abundance of energy. Another was toxic input, which is like listening to the wrong people. I'm not going to go on that rant today, but if you're listening to people who are telling you that you're a bad person if you don't show up and check the box, just stop listening to them. And lastly, I want to say enjoy your rest days. Without proper rest, you're never going to really work that hard. Some people, and even me in my past, I've experienced slumps just because I was never really recovering well from like the hard work I was doing. It's kind of like training. You can go lift all the weights you want and do all the sparring you want, but if you're not recovering, it's literally not going to give you the result that you're looking for. So just like that, you need to recover from the hard work you do in skills or business or hobbies or whatever you ended up on my channel for. I would argue recovery is almost more important than the work itself, but that's a whole different topic for a whole different day. Just do not see rest days as like days you skipped or bad days, because you really need those days. That's honestly pretty much it. Apart from the videos I mentioned earlier, the how to teach yourself anything video and the watch later playlist video, I will link, or I think I mentioned the goal videos too. Yeah, I will mention, or I will link, geez, what am I saying? I will link the Too Many Interests Part 2 video in the description as well, and you may see it on the end screen. That's more so for people who have multiple interests and you're having trouble figuring out which ones you should leverage in your time and all that. I would highly recommend watching that one too. So that's like 4 different videos. You can watch them whenever you want. Anyhow, subscribe if you have not already, or I will send this to come get you. I am literally about to play Street Fighter, so I'm gonna cut this camera off and get to it. Love you guys. Peace.